Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day. Today I will be showing you something that is a major spoiler, so if you have not completed most of the storyline in No Man's Sky and you do not want this spoiled, then don't watch this. So, this is basically some new lore that they secretly added without telling us into the update 1.35 of No Man's Sky. At least I'm pretty sure these weren't around before 1.35. Somebody discovered it and told me about it right after the 1.35 update landed, and I investigated it, and let me show you. So you'll find things like this in buildings on planets or in space stations. It's in these rooms that are locked. So there's a lot of different things that you need in order to access this new lore. You have to have either an Atlas Pass version 2, and you can access the ones on planets, or you can have an Atlas Pass version 3, and that will give you access to the ones on planets and on space stations. So this is one of the locked rooms on a planet. I have already unlocked this one, so the door will just open. And here it is. So these things are in rooms that either have these server tower things, or the hologram rooms that appear in GEC systems, and it has these terminals like this. Now the other requirement to access this lore is Remembrance. Remembrance is a exosuit upgrade that you get, I believe, at the end of the Atlas Rises storyline. And the other thing you need in order to make it is Heart of the Sun. Heart of the Sun is the last recipe you get from the Atlas Path. So you basically have to finish the new Atlas Rises storyline and the old Atlas Path in order to get everything you need to craft Remembrance in your exosuit. And Remembrance is required to access these terminals. Now, these terminals give us more lore. They are basically the backstory and I believe the prediction of the future of the Atlas. Thankfully, these lore entries are a lot less vague than like the exotic planet lore. They give us much more detailed information without being incredibly mysterious, and doesn't have any like redacted words to prevent us from knowing what they say. I think there's only 3 or 4 lore entries in this, but they're really juicy little lore entries, and I think they are basically giving us a preview of what's coming next in either the next update to No Man's Sky or other future updates to No Man's Sky. So I'm going to read this lore entry. This one is called Unexplained, label Lilu Diu, interact data unavailable. Well, the data is not unavailable anymore because I have Remembrance. The data would be unavailable if you don't have Remembrance installed. Hello world. The Atlas has created a simulation of its own world, its entire existence, in an attempt to witness its own impending death. It wishes to show me its past, its future. Perform diagnostic. 16 of 16. The Atlas witnesses the final 16 minutes, simulating the future with perfect accuracy. The walls between worlds fall, each simulation collapsing into the other. This is the final lore entry of this little lore line. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's only 3 entries. This is the 3rd and final entry. This one is giving us a preview, I think, of what is coming next in the No Man's Sky storyline. I think they added this little Easter egg into 1.35 to give us a preview of what's coming next. Okay, so the walls between worlds fall, each simulation collapsing into the other. That's something that we found out about in the Atlas Rises storyline. 10 minutes left. So When there's 16 minutes left, this starts to happen. The walls between worlds fall, each simulation collapsing into the other. Then, when there's 10 minutes left, the travelers are no longer separated, no longer kept apart. They stand side by side at the end of days, traversing the remnants of creation, laughing, dying. I think this is where we are right now in the game. We're at 10 minutes remaining before the destruction of the universe. The travelers are no longer separated. We have multiplayer now. We can see each other. We can traverse the remnants of creation together, laughing and dying. Now, 5 minutes left, I think, is what's probably coming in the next update. It witnesses its own self, the black hole ripping apart its world, its core systems almost destroyed. I already gave you a spoiler warning, so I'll continue with the spoilers. At the end of the Atlas storyline, well, near the end of the Atlas storyline, we find out that the Atlas is dying. It's being destroyed. We don't know what it is being destroyed by, but this gives us a clue. It's a black hole, apparently. The Atlas is a computer running the simulation of No Man's Sky. So wherever the Atlas is, it's in a star system whose star is collapsing into a black hole, and it's ripping apart the planet, and pretty soon the Atlas will be destroyed, and with it the universe of No Man's Sky. 1 minute left. And as it watches the moments leading up to its own death, towards the completion of 16, something happens. Someone walks toward the Atlas, a figure in the darkness and in the light. It places its hand against the glass of the Atlas, and the vision ends. So, this, I'm not sure what this means exactly. It could be this is something we're going to get to do in a future update. That we will... Some people, before portals were added, wondered if maybe portals would be a way for us to exit the simulation. I'm not sure how that would be, since travelers are just data inside the simulation. I don't know how we could enter or exit the No Man's Sky simulation, but it's saying that a figure in the darkness and the light comes and touches the glass of the Atlas, which I think is like the real physical Atlas. So I don't know if this means we're going to get to exit the simulation and we'll get to see the real computer console of the Atlas, or if this is some other figure in the real world that we can't get to that is going to come to the Atlas right before it's destroyed. I don't know. And honestly, I don't even know if the Atlas is actually being destroyed, if it's currently being destroyed or not. The Atlas can predict the future, as we found out in the Waking Titan ARG, so it may not be that the Atlas is actually about to be destroyed. It's just simulating the future, predicting when it is going to be destroyed. So it's not actually being destroyed yet. But since we are starting to have multiplayer, and like the universes or the galaxies are colliding into each other, it seems like maybe that is happening. Maybe the Atlas is being destroyed now, but I don't know. The Atlas attempts to see past this moment, but it cannot. It cannot see its own death. It cannot determine who this figure is. That really makes me hope that we are that figure, that we are the last traveler, the ones that get to save the Atlas, or the ones that get to be with the Atlas in its final moments. I don't really know, but that would be cool if portals let us exit the simulation or go to the core program of the Atlas in the moments when it's being destroyed or something, and then we don't know what happens past that moment, if the traveler is able to save the Atlas in some way or what. But that's basically a preview of what's coming next. We may see that final climax when we or some other figure comes to the Atlas in its final moments. But whatever happens, whatever may occur beyond the 16, meaning the 16 minutes before Atlas is destroyed, something will arrive, something will be there beside it. At the end of all things, it will no longer be alone. And that's it. There's 2 other lore entries before that one, so that's a little incentive for you all to get Remembrance and Atlas Pass version 2 or 3 so that you can read the previous 2 lore entries. But that is it for this video on the new lore that was added secretly in update 1.35. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.